Today's meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order on August 24th, 2022. Welcome, everyone. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Agendas of today's meeting are on the wall at the entrance to chambers. Please remember to turn off your cell phones. The Municipal Code Enforcement Board consists of 7 members who are appointed by the City Council. We serve voluntarily. It's the board's intention to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Clearwater by providing this equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing certain codes within the city. The board considers new business items in 2 parts. First, the violation, and then affirmative relief. Formal rules of evidence do not apply. Each side is limited to 15 minutes. The board may grant additional time. All proceedings will be conducted in a calm, civil manner. Individuals who conduct themselves otherwise will be asked to leave. If necessary, they will be escorted from the chambers. Now I ask all of you who plan to speak to please rise and be sworn in by the clerk.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
Yes.
Thank you.
Our first order of business is to review and approve the minutes of last month's meeting. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I have a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
Minutes are approved. So is there anyone here to speak to items not on today's agenda? Anybody? Okay. So next we'll go on to the agenda to the new business items. New business item 4.1 is continued from April, May, and July of this year. Case 32-22, status update regarding Respondent's Coachman Creek Condo Association. And is there anyone here to speak to this case? Hello.
Three members of the board. Adam Gurley, back before you on behalf of Coachman Creek. The project continues to move along. When I was last before the board, I advised that the association had secured funding to move forward with the project. We just needed to then finalize the contract with the contractor, have the engineer update the scope of work. There were some changes on the temporary stairwell that's going to provide ingress and egress while the project's undergoing. The engineer made those changes. The parties have agreed to the contract. The association held a meeting this past Monday, voted to approve the contract and signed the contract on Monday. So we have the signed contract. On Tuesday, the association signed and sent to the contractor their notice of commencement so that the contractor can attach that to the permit application. Suncoast, the contractor, has indicated that they want to move forward quickly in filing these permit documents. There's been a little bit of hurry up and wait with them in the past, but they sound sincere that they're going to be submitting that to the city very quickly here now that they have what they need. So
Suncoast Engineers is your...
Suncoast, I think it's Restoration, is the contractor, and then Karen's Engineering is the engineering firm that prepared the scope of work. And then SEI Engineering remains involved to the extent that they're continuing to inspect the temporary shoring that remains in place at the building while we get the permits moving here. So we've checked the next box, which is we're now under contract. Notice of commencement is with the contractor. Waiting on them to submit those applications now to the city.
So what's the status of the permit application?
It has not been submitted yet by Suncoast. They just got the notice of commencement from our client. We had to sign it yesterday. They're still waiting on bond information, but we went ahead and moved forward with the notice of commencement so that we could submit the permit application. If we have to revise the notice of commencement at a later date, we'll do that. But it hasn't been submitted yet, sir, to directly answer your question, but they have what they need now, and we expect it to be submitted very shortly.
Mr. Root, do you have any idea how long that's going to take to get their permit approved?
Once they give us everything that we need, sign the sealed plans, making sure that the contractor is licensed in Dallas County. It should be 7 business days or less.
Okay, great. The next meeting. It's good news.
Well, we can just do a status update at the next
Yeah.
meeting. Would you want a status update in September?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. it doesn't, I don't think this requires a motion.
Would you mind?
I don't think it requires a motion, we'll just have to reset for next month. for
Would you
status
mind?
update.
No,
Mr.
not at all.
Gurley?
Happy to come in and give an update.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, members
so
of the
much.
board. Have a good day.
Thank you. Okay, it looks like business items 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4 have been withdrawn. Case 64-22 finds respondents Ana Torres Pabon at 1450 Franklin Street in violation of code for exterior surfaces. Is there anyone here to speak to this case?
Actually, Board,
No?
Daniel Kasman, Code Enforcement Inspector of the City of Clearwater, and this is going to be a declaration of violation today.
Okay.
We just need a motion for that.
Yeah, I move
Just
to
to
find
accept
the
it.
respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case. The violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. At case 66-22, finds respondents Trust, 1481 Isa Veronica Trey at 1481 Drew Street in violation of code for exterior surfaces. Is there anyone here to speak on that case? Hello,
Board,
Mr.
Daniel
Kasman.
Kasman again. This one is always also going to be a declaration of
Okay.
violation. It came into
Appreciate
compliance
Okay.
a few days before the hearing.
Perfect. I move to find the respondent was in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit. In this case, the violation was corrected prior to today's hearing, and to enter an order that no fine be imposed. If the respondent repeats the violation, the board may order a fine of up to $500 for each day the violation continues to exist.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well done.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, Daniel. Case 67-22 finds respondents Nathan Evans at 917 Eldridge Street in violation of code for hauling trailer, exterior surfaces, lot clearing, and inoperative vehicle. Is there anyone here to speak to this case? Hello, good afternoon. Your name and address for the,
Nathan Evans, 917 Eldridge Street.
and do you admit to the violation, Mr. Evans? Do you admit to the violation?
Yes.
So may I have a motion on the declaration? It's a,
First,
on
yeah.
the violation?
Admission.
First
Yeah,
motion.
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes, and hello, Mr. Dixon.
Good afternoon, Inspector Gregory Dixon, Code Compliance Inspector with the City of Clearwater. This is case 67-22 for 917 Eldridge. Do you want me to present the whole case or go to the?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
All right, there's 4 violations at the property, 1 for exterior surfaces, hauling trailers in the front, side, and back and not screened, lot clearing violation, accumulation, placements of nuisance, and inoperative vehicles. Notice of violations were sent out in November 18th of 2021 and April 13th of 2022, with compliance dates of December 17th, 21 and May 12th, 2022. The certified mail receipts were received back in the office on December 3rd, 2021 and April 20th, 2022. Here's property from end of last year. You can see that there's a trailer out front. You can see some piles of debris in the back. It's the property that would be on the right side of the picture. Here's another trailer out front. Exterior surfaces, there's some rotted wood up above the door. Paint could probably use a touch-up. Here's the backyard in April. Just random items. You can see 3 or 4 cars over to the left and a truck up to the front by the RV. Another view. Here's the house in April. They started to paint a little bit up front. This is just last week. Here's some trailers out front. The debris is still in the back. And the cars are still in the backyard.
any questions for Mr. Dixon?
Exterior surfaces, what exactly is the concern? Is it the paint that you mentioned?
Paint and some rotted wood around
Rotted
it.
wood on the front? Okay. Okay. You can hear it from the owner now.
Would you like my recommendation?
Yeah, we'll hear your recommendations first, and then we'll talk to Mr. Dixon.
Okay.
Mr. Evans, pardon me.
I'm requesting 30 days to come into compliance for the exterior services and hauling trailers. If compliance is not met, impose a fine of $150 a day per violation for each day the violation exists. I'm asking for 30 days to come into compliance for the lot clearing and inoperable vehicles. If compliance is not met, issue an order to allow the city to enter the property and abate the nuisance. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such liens using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law. Compliance can be met for exterior surfaces by repairing all deteriorated, rotten, or damaged exterior surfaces and apply fresh paint to all exterior surfaces where the paint is failing, peeling, or faded to include any non-treated wood. Compliance can be met for the hauling trailers by removing all hauling trailers from the front of the property and park them behind the fence so that they are not directly visible from the street. Compliance can be met for the inoperable vehicles by removing all inoperable vehicles from the property. Vehicles must be roadworthy and display a current registration if they are going to remain at the property. Only the RVs and trailers may be stored in the back or side yard behind the fence. Compliance can be met for lot clearing by removing all trash, debris, scrap, and spare tires from the property and clearing all overgrowth and vegetation.
Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Mr. Evans. Hello, you want to come forward? Do you have anything to say about this property?
Nothing at all.
Okay. Do you intend to
Yes.
work with Mr. Dixon and clean it up?
Yeah.
Okay, you think 30 days is enough time to come into compliance?
I may need more time for some of the items, but the majority, yes.
Okay. You'll have no problem getting the lot cleared up? You'll have no problem getting the lot clean?
No,
Okay.
my son's here, so he can make it happen.
Okay, we love to hear that. Thank you so much. Any other questions for Mr. Evans?
How much time do you think you need? You said you may need more time, so right now it's 30 days.
Yeah, I like to call him if I need any more, but my son's a monster, so I just want to give myself time if I need it.
Okay.
That'd be okay with 60 days now.
Okay.
All right with you?
I'm comfortable with 60 days to give you the time to work with your son to clear it out and then to fix the exterior surfaces. So instead of 30, 60 days to come into compliance. Would that work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes. We can do that for you. Please work closely with Mr. Dixon because you don't want to come back here.
No, I do not.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
There's no other questions. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. I move to enter an order that a fine of $150 per day be imposed for the, oh, hold on. Is that the right motion? Second motion.
Second motion, first violation.
Okay. Per the imposed for the, what do I need to say at that point? Is it the cost or the number of days? 60 days?
60 puts
I have
us,
September 24th.
it'll put us October. We'll just go October.
October the 23rd. October the 23rd. Repeat violation existed for a total fine of $150 payable.
It's page 1.
The,
Okay. I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before October 23rd. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of up to $150 per day per violation. For each day, each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I'll second that.
all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Dixon. Case 68-22 finds respondents Urbanscape LLC at 1796 Harbor Drive in violation of code for residential rental business tax receipt. Is there anyone here to speak to this case? No.
Inspector Gregory Dixon, this is case number 68-22, 1796 Harbor Drive. There's one violation at the property. It's a rental, and they do not have a rental BTR.
first violation?
A notice of violation was mailed on 6/14/2022 with a compliance date of 7/14/2022, and the certified mail was returned to the office on 7/19. This is just a screenshot of our program that would track all BTRs. They don't have an active BTR for the rental, but the owner of the LLC that owns the property there out in Colorado did contact me this week, and they've sent in the application, but they've yet to pay. So,
For Harbor.
yeah. So I'm requesting 30 days for them to come into compliance or a fine of $150 a day. I assume that it'll probably be closed out.
Oh, okay.
They've already sent the application, they just got to send the money.
Okay. Do you want to make it first?
Yeah, I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
And I move to enter an order requiring the respondent to correct the violations on or before September 24th?
Yeah, 1 more 30 days.
September 23rd. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation. For each day each violation continues to exist, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Case 72-22, thank you, Mr. Dixon. Fines respondent George Nikovic at 511 Phoenix Ave in violation of code for permits. Is there anyone here to speak to this case? Please come forward and state your name and address for the clerk.
Hi, my name is Fiorella Nikovic. I'm at 1701. Oh, do you want the address of the?
Your address.
Yes, your home address.
1701 Emerald Drive, Clearwater, Florida, 33756.
And I'm Mark Nikovic, 1457 South Missouri Avenue.
Okay. And are you the wife of the
I'm
I'm
homeowner?
George's wife.
George's wife.
And
You're his son.
He's my brother. My son, I'm nervous.
Oh, thank you. No, don't be nervous. Please, are you admitting to the violation?
Well, I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to answer this. I did hire somebody to do the stairs. We had a contract with them. I paid them $1,330 to pull the permit, which they had pulled. I kept calling them, asking them when they were going to start. They kept saying, well, we're having a hard time getting supplies. This was all during COVID time, you know. And I kept calling and calling and calling, and finally that permit was going to expire, and I kept calling them, and I'm like, what's going on? Can we get an extension? And they eventually got back to me and said, I mean, this is months later, that they were going to get an extension for a month. So now 2 weeks passes, now I'm freaking out again. I'm calling them. They said, we have an extension for 3 months. So now the 3 months was coming up. I have all these texts that I sent to them. I said, what are you guys doing? I have already had the tenants upstairs move out because they said we couldn't have the tenants because they weren't going to allow them to put mobile stairs for the tenants to come and go. So I had to move this elderly war veteran with cancer out of the house. It was just terrible. They still didn't come. They never showed up. They just never showed up. I finally called them again. I even contacted somebody else to see if they could do the stairs for me. It was just a mess. And so finally, I text them again. I said, what are you guys doing? I says, I need these stairs done. And they send me a message saying, some guy called us late May, early June, and told us that you fired us and that they were going to do the work. I said, why wouldn't you call me and ask me this? I said, I did speak to somebody that I would have used. I said, but you never contacted me. I talked to that man after the permit had supposedly expired. So what happened is they just ignored my phone calls. They let the permit expire. Then they realized it when this guy called afterwards. But now I have found somebody who will do the stairs. I talked to him yesterday. His name is Jamie from Creative. And he said in about 2 days he'll give me the proposal, and whatever it is.
Okay. But you're speaking on behalf of George. It's your
Yes.
property as well.
Yeah.
George is.
I'm his wife.
He's still with us.
George,
Yes.
yeah, he's just very sick.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. And then this is rental property, but
Yes.
the renters are no longer in
Not
the property?
upstairs, no. Mm-mm.
Okay, so you do admit to the violation, and then we'll hear from the inspector and see how we can
Okay,
get this
yes.
resolved? Is that
Yes.
correct?
Sure.
That's correct.
Can I get a motion?
I move to find the respondent in violation of the code as referred to in the affidavit in this case.
I second.
All in favor? Aye. Hello, Mr. Cantrell.
Good afternoon, Jason Cantrell, City of Clearwater. This is 511 Phoenix Avenue, case number 72-22. one violation here. This is actually a housing violation for Code Section 304.10, stairways, decks, porches, and balconies. Every stairway, deck, porch, and balcony and all appurtenances attached thereto shall be maintained structurally sound, in good repair, with proper anchorage, and capable of supporting the imposed loads. Notice of violation was sent on 3/15/21 and again on 4/13/21. With compliance date, I had the incorrect date on the original notice. I had it before I actually sent the notice out, so I corrected that and resent that to them. They did sign for the certified mail receipt on the first notice on 3/31/21. Shortly after they received the notice, I did speak to someone on the phone. I believe it might have been Mark here with us today. And they did apply for a permit on 4/15/21. That permit became active on September 16th, 21, and was eventually voided out on June 14th, 2022. And then the notice of hearing was sent on June 16th this year, and that was not signed for, so an affidavit of posting was done on July 1st at the property. The red dot is where the property is located, just south of Gulf to Bay, off of Phoenix Avenue, which is just west of Keene. This is an overview of the property. The balconies, they probably need some maintenance, but they're not the issue here. The issue today is just the stairwell. This is underneath. You can see that beam is almost completely rotted through. You can see that is not an optical illusion. The stairs are canted to the side there. You can see that they're not properly installed and they're in bad shape. This is the other stairwell on the left side. It's also leaning pretty bad, and you can see the deterioration on that as well, along the stringers there. And this just shows more deterioration, more that it's not stable. This is a more recent photo. They did close off that right side via the tape. Also, one thing I forgot to point out is the handrail right there on that right side, down near the bottom, is separated. That's a violation as well. That's supposed to be continuous. There's a better photo of that. It does appear it was installed that way originally, but would need to be repaired. Again, that's just showing the condition. And that was the posting for today's hearing. That's all I have.
Do you have any questions for Mr. Grant?
How many units are?
4 units.
4 units upstairs?
2 upstairs, 2 downstairs.
So are any of the units occupied?
They appear to be occupied to me. I went by there today. There is stuff on the balconies, but I do not know that.
So the people that were forced out, that unit is probably not occupied, but the other one you think is?
I do not know. I'm just saying there's stuff out on the porches in front of the homes, so I really don't know if they're living in there currently.
The petitioner said she paid $1,300 for a permit. Is that correct?
For a contractor.
When you speak, you have to be up here so we can record it.
Permits are based on the cost of the job, so I couldn't really tell you how much the permit itself was. That could have been a permit / down payment for the contractor. I'm not sure. She'll let you know.
So in any case, she's going to have to apply for a permit, I take it.
Yes, unless this contractor is willing to work with her and reopen his permit, but yeah, she would need a new active permit otherwise.
Okay.
Any other questions before we hear his recommendations?
No.
Your recommendations.
Do you want to hear from them first, or?
Well, what are your recommendations first?
Okay. Our recommendation for compliance for this case is apply for, obtain, and complete the required permitting and repairs. And we are requesting them to obtain the permit on or before September 25th, 2022, and complete that permit by November 25th, 2022, or a fine of $150 per day that the violation continues to exist. And any reasonable cost to be applied as liens against the property, After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines, fees remain unpaid, the city attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
Okay, thank you. We'd like to hear from the homeowner. So you've been aware of the problem for quite a while now, and you actually had to, evict or
Right. the
remove your
people
tenants?
upstairs yeah, we had them move out.
Both sides?
Both sides. There's 2 apartments upstairs and 2 apartments downstairs. So the elderly gentleman, he moved, I forget where he went, somewhere close to, because he gets treatment for cancer, so now he's got to go back and forth all the time. And the person who lived in the other side, she travels for work all the time, so she's no longer coming there. She has her stuff in the apartment, but she's no longer living there because she's out and about.
But she's still paying rent to you to live in that apartment?
No, she's not paying any rent because we thought that they'd be here in May to fix the stairs.
Okay. Does she have to use the stairs to access her stuff in her apartment?
Right, because she would be upstairs.
Yeah. Okay. So you've heard the recommendations. Do you plan to get a new contractor? It sounds like you put a down payment down and that guy's gone.
I put a DF with the other people with the building restorations in Tampa. But yes, I spoke with somebody, Jamie from Creative is the name of the actually, I was going to have my bathroom redone because my husband's very ill and have it more safe for him. And he mentioned to me that he has a brother who does this kind, because I was telling him about what was going on. So his brother spoke with me yesterday. He's a contractor, and he said that he will give me a proposal in 2 days and hopefully start the work. I don't know now if we have to apply for another permit or...
So the previous permit is been voided, so
Right.
you would either have to get that reactivated or he would have to put in for a new permit, and then this motion that we'd be voting on today would be that has to be done by the 25th of September, so the new...
I have no problem. If I could...
Not that they have to be
I could do
fixed,
it.
just that they have to apply for the permit
Yeah,
by the
yeah.
25th of
Yeah,
September.
no, I'm in agreement. I mean, we were trying to get them done even before the inspector had told us. We found people, but then they tell me, well, you got to pull a permit because I can't. I'm like, well, why am I going to use you if you can't pull a permit, So this has been my problem, and then we found these people, and they turned out to be...
Yeah, so it's at the point where it has to become a priority now to
Oh,
get this
yeah,
done.
I mean, it has been, it's just, these people would never answer me. I could show you all the text messages I sent them, when I kept everything, because I'm like, I don't know what they're doing, they're just not answering. And then when they finally did was when the permit had, and I kept telling them, the permit is expiring, it's expiring, what are you doing?
So it says that the permit has to be completed by the 25th, which would mean that the work have to be finished by November?
The work needs to be done by
After the
November.
contractor pulls the permit, he needs more time. Is there a way to?
You can get an extension, but we would like to see some progress made on
Right.
this by...
Oh, yeah, we agree too. But I'm just-
Because you want to put tenants back up there. so-
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because we're losing revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's a safety concern if kids start to play on the
Of
steps,
course,
even though no
yeah.
one's living out there, so.
Right,
really
oh,
That's what I'm trying to
absolutely,
put
that's
the
why
caution
we
tape
were
up at least,
pulling
but
all those
on
things
both
up there,
sides.
yeah, on both sides, so that, nobody would go up there. I mean, there's no kids that live there, but there are kids in the neighborhood, kids are kids,
Well, it seems like we're all on the same page here, and you can get this rolling
Yeah.
and work with the new inspector, whether or not it's Mr. Cantrell.
Yeah, one other, does the city have any liability for shutting down the upstairs units? I mean, they went ahead and taped it off, okay, but
Are you asking the attorney?
I guess.
You have to speak to the city's attorney.
What do you mean, liability for the cost that they lost, or what do you mean by that?
What if this lady comes back and she goes up into or attempts to go up into her apartment and she falls or falls and she gets hurt? Does the city have any liability for not closing down the upstairs units to?
Like with more than just tape, is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I guess.
At this point, that would be something I should probably, we could discuss further at a different date, but at this point, it's been closed off. They've been notified on multiple occasions. They've been given ample time. It's ultimately the property owner's responsibility to secure their own property, and that's why they have insurance or are personally liable if someone's injured on their property, so. The city can't force anyone to expend money to correct an issue that's on their property at this point.
Okay.
That's why we're here, so that hopefully we can get some action.
Even more of a reason to get this going.
Right,
Oh, believe me,
absolutely.
we would have had it done a long time ago had we not known that these people were bad.
Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're working with a good company now.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
Nicole, do we make two motions on this one then? Based on the two different dates?
Make one motion with the two issues.
And use what date?
Right. you're-
Well, one for the permit and one
different
for
dates.
the
Use what dates,
25th,
okay.
yeah. Okay. Is that all?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for appearing.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much,
much.
thank you.
Are you going to make that?
Yeah, I think I can. I move to enter order requiring the respondents to correct the permit violation by September 25th, 2022, and complete the permit by November 25th, 2022. If the respondent does not comply by that date, the board may order a fine of $150 per day per violation for each day each violation continues to exist. If fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, and settle such lien.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thanks for participating. Okay, that's all for the new business items and to unfinished business. Can we accept the affidavits of compliance, case 33-22 and 47-22 together?
Yes.
Okay,
I move to accept the affidavits as compliance as listed.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. These pass. And case 72-21, accept the affidavits of non-compliance for respondents Brian Nicholas Hudson at 1317 Overleaf Street for business tax receipt, exterior storage, and vehicle repair. Is there anyone here to speak to the affidavits of non-compliance on this? Oh, please come forward, state your name and address for the clerk.
I'm very hard of hearing, ma'am.
Oh, please state your name and address.
Ryan Nicholas Hudson, 1317 Overleaf Street, Clearwater, 33755.
I don't believe this witness was sworn in. Were you sworn in?
No, sir.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout your entire testimony?
Okay, do you want to tell us about this violation?
Well, I had everything about cleaned up there, and then I lost another piece of property, and I had to bring some stuff back by there. And I'm in the process of selling the house. I've got it up for sale. I need to Clearwater's changed for me, and I've got to move up north into the woods a little bit. But I got the place up for sale right now. It's ready to get out of there. And
It is listed.
yes, ma'am.
What is the, do you have any intention to address the issues before
Yes.
it sells?
Well, I need space is what I need, and I've got fairly amount. Well, I've got boats that I need titles for that I'm waiting on the DMV for. And in order to get rid of them, I can't get rid of them without titles. I can't sell them without titles. I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place with the title situation. I'm attempting right now to go through a title agency, but I keep running into barriers everywhere I go with them.
Okay, so the intention then is to sell the property as is with all this stuff on it?
No. I'll get a dumpster out there and get rid of what needs to go in the dumpster, but the rest of the stuff's materials that they're good materials.
What about the boats and the vehicles? You're going to put those in the dumpster, or what?
Well, I think I'm going to be able to get titles for them. I should be able to. It just takes forever.
Okay.
I used to have a big shop, and I had all this stuff at a big shop, and I lost my lease there and had to. And then I went and moved over to Seminole Street, and I moved into that shop there, and that guy had done a bunch of stuff to the owner of the property, and it was very unsafe. And then you guys came in and condemned the building, and then I had to get out of there. And that's pretty much, after paying $10,000 twice to move it just got to the point where I'm broke.
Okay, I think I need to hear from Mr. Swinton on this. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Hudson?
No.
Okay. Let's just hear from the inspector, and then we'll go forward with this.
Thank you.
Afternoon, Board. Inspector Dixon, City of Clearwater. We're here to accept the affidavits of noncompliance for 1317 Overley Street. It was case 72-21. There were 4 violations at the property, and the problem was he was running the boat repair business out of the house. And so this property came and was found in violation last June. And so we were watching the property because he did clean up the back, and it seemed like the boat repair had stopped. But it seemed that the boat repairs had started back up. So we decided to submit for the affidavits of noncompliance. And at about the same time, I was contacted by Mr. Jeff Ryan, who had brought his boat there for repairs. So that kind of confirmed my suspicions that the boat repairs were still happening. And Mr. Ryan is here, and he's willing to testify if he needs to. Would you like to see any pictures of the property, like recent pictures?
Yes.
These are pictures from over a year ago. There's always multiple boats on the property and in the back, and a bunch of items you'd use to repair, and a tractor to move these boats around the property. And these are from last April. And then I'll show you.
Can you confirm that the house is listed for sale?
It is. And these are from this week. There's a couple more boats in the drive, boats and parts in the backyard. Some of these boats haven't moved over this time, so they are his boats, but I've ran some of the FL numbers. I don't know if he's bought them, and he says he can't get title for them if they stay in the old person's names, but 3 or 4 of these boats were in other names. And then some of the parts and repair are coming back over here in piles of repair parts. And that's it.
Why is he having problems getting title for the property? Do you know why?
Well, for the boat.
I don't know.
Not to speak for any boat owners, but sometimes you just give up on your boat. Okay, and yeah, you're asking for the affidavit of noncompliance.
The original compliance date was July 13, 2021.
Yeah.
So it's time.
But the fine would only start if there's an affidavit of non-compliance accepted.
Okay.
All right.
This is it.
It's not a repeat, though.
So if you accepted the affidavit of non-compliance, it would start from today, well, tomorrow.
3 months.
When we get this resolved.
Going back to the title, and I know I asked the question and we assumed I was talking about the boat, but I believe he said he's having problems getting a title to the property, the house. Is that correct? No?
You think you're talking about titles for the boats, right? Yeah, titles for the boats, not the property.
Okay.
Well, I think the property's going to be that much harder to sell with the lien on it, and so we don't want to make a giant burden for the homeowner, but at the same time, we want this to get remedied.
I think it would be good to get
clarity on when the fines actually start. Because it may go back to the actual date or today. But you said it's not a repeat,
We're
right?
still giving him about 3 months based on this habit.
No, because fines would start
Fines would
immediately.
start, but there wouldn't be a lien on the property yet.
Yeah, but if he's gonna not pay them in 3 months, then that's fine. Unless he could sell the house before 3 months and close.
In this market, I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know that that is the true intention.
Does he have a recommendation, or it's just it's accepted or not? Okay.
Well, the original fines were,
It's been pending for a long time.
3 months back.
We're waiting
but
for
Would
Mr.
you like
what
to
were the
continue
original fines?
acceptance until next month to give him time to try to sell the house? Is that what you're pondering, maybe?
I don't think that they could sell the house and close in 30 days, but I hate to make it harder for him to sell the house because of the lien, if it really is for sale.
It is, I've seen it online,
Yeah.
active for sale.
I checked as well, it is.
Could we just ask for a status update in a month? Is that?
No.
It's in your order, if you go ahead and accept the affidavit of non-compliance, it will go back.
So it would be quite a hefty lien.
But he's been aware of it. I don't think it's new. I think he's been well aware, and he's continued to. For the person who came who would speak on behalf of the case,
The homeowner, oh, you want to say, that's the neighbor, I think.
no, not the homeowner, the individual who said he had his boat serviced at
Yes.
the home. Do we know when that occurred? How recent was it?
Yes, he could testify.
Sure, we'd like to hear from him. Was he sworn in?
Yes.
Okay.
I just need your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
347 Shirley Avenue, Bel Air, Florida, 33756.
And your name?
Jeff Ryan.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I would like to say, I Googled, I needed a boat repaired. Got on the internet. Service Pro came up, first one on the list. So that's the first one. We went over there. We took our boat over there on 4/20 of this year. And I got several documentation showing that he's operating out of his house. This is my boat. Went in for repairs. This is my boat in his backyard on, January. This was on May 24th. This is on January 28th. No, not January, but June the 8th. It's stamped. While I was there, I happened to take some more pictures. I've been working on more boats on that day. This is the side of his house. As you can see, plenty of debris everywhere where he's worked on boats and took the parts and just threw them on the side of the house. This gentleman has actually, we gave him some money up front to work on our boat, to put a starter on. We gave him $790 up front. Then after he fixed that part, he said, oh, well, I need more money for this part. And it just kept going on. And at that point, we were saying, I think we're getting squandered here. But what do you do when somebody's got your boat and you don't want nothing to happen to your boat? So you're saying, okay, let's just keep moving forward a little bit. It finally came down to the point that he was lying to us the whole time. He said he put the lower end back together, which he never did. I even called the police department, have them come out to the house. He did not answer the door. We ended up later, but I ended up grabbing my boat, taking it. Finally, he gives me my boat parts back, and it's all in pieces, but which he says he put it all together. He did not put it together, which I in turn paid him $2,800 total. So he kind of scambled me out of money. Now my boat's in another place, and now I'm paying it all over again, which is not right for me. So he just scambled people, and every time I go by there, and I drove by, and there's always boats. In fact, no matter one guy drove by.
I don't think the business is not what is in dispute here.
Oh,
He
I'm
admits
sorry.
he admits that he is running a boat repair
Okay,
business. That's
okay.
not in dispute. I'm
Sorry.
sorry about
No, no,
all
no, no,
the
no,
costs,
no, no,
though.
that's fine. I just wanted to show you my boat was there. My boat's in the backyard. The backyard's a mess. There's all kinds of boats back there, which I got several pictures of it on
Yeah, we
these
understand.
particular days. If you guys ever want to look at them, I'll give them to you.
That's what we're going to vote on today.
Would you
is
wanna-
that- No, we have the pictures, thank you. Or
Okay.
Nicole will take them.
Okay, you want all this?
I think, we're looking at 5 figures.
That was just recently, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Is that all? Thank you. If there's no more questions, Richard.
I think he would
Determine
like,
the date, if you so want to amend that. And that's up to you.
I just think that, we're looking at a huge lien, probably 5, 6 figures, and that would be very hard for him to sell this house, which is actively listed with this giant lien on it.
So you're concerned with the dollar amount that it's
50 a day for a
accumulated to?
year.
Pardon? 150 days, yeah, it's for over a year now.
450.
Four-
Revival.
Yeah, so we're looking at quite a large number that
I think he'd like to say something.
the city would not be
If you
likely to
allow.
collect. Yeah, Mr. Hudson, do you?
Not that it really matters much, but my son was and his wife were in a car accident. He killed his wife, and our son was in the hospital for 2 months, and that's put me in I had to take care of the grandkids while he was in the hospital in intensive care. So that's affected my work habits quite a bit over the last few months, 6 months.
I am so sorry to hear that, Mr. Hudson. We really do appreciate you appearing today to talk about this property. And it looks like you know that it's in your best interest to sell this property because you're no longer able to maintain it. So I think we're going to take that into consideration when we vote how to just penalize this so as not to penalize you so much that you can't sell the property.
Okay,
Do you understand there's a very large, if we vote on this affidavit of noncompliance and you don't pay it in 3 months, it's a very large fine.
I didn't know I was being fined. I was told by Mr. Dixon that I was okay, everything was okay a few months ago.
The inspector told you everything was okay?
Yeah. But I had it all cleaned up, and then I lost a piece of property, and I had to move some stuff back into it.
Okay. I think we need to discuss what the recommendation is to do for this, because it's going to be quite a large figure.
I had no idea.
Yeah, because you're being fined on 3, you would have been fined on 3 violations, and it's now been over a year, so and those violations those fees are per day.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, you told me you were talking to me.
Okay, so let's,
You told me I
Let's
was-
clarify something.
You did clean up the property, but then the business never stopped.
I did stop the business out of there for 8, 9 months, and I had to have some money once my son got in that accident. I had to have some money, and I did work on a couple boats, yes. But not the whole time. I mean, I thought everything was fine. I mean, I had to get some money.
hang on, Mr. Hudson, just have a seat for a second. Let's talk about what we are allowed to do within this to make this manageable.
The city has been more than obviously patient with this because the affidavit of noncompliance only talks about July 6th of this year. So any fine would come from that date forward.
Okay.
So you're talking about $450 a day from July 6th, 2022, up to continuing until it comes into compliance. So we're talking about 7 weeks, and then continuing on. So I wanted the board to be clear on that.
Okay.
Normally, I mean, that's why I'm saying the city could have said all the way back to July 13th of 2021 if they wanted to.
Okay. So I think that is something that's more manageable, especially for a house that's on the market and that you intend to sell. We're just trying to be fair.
I had no idea. is what's even going on.
Well, there have been numerous postings on this property and letters sent to this property about getting it maintained.
I didn't get it. I just got the letter about this just a few days ago.
So you've never received any of the communications and
I've been
notices?
staying in Pasco County taking care of my grandkids.
So you weren't aware?
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
I was not, no.
But it's gone on before that.
Yes, over a year, so we want to hear from the inspector?
Yes.
In the interest of time.
Can you just take a seat, Mr. Hudson? I just want to hear from the inspector one more time.
Please take a seat.
I didn't hear you.
You can have a seat. I'm just going to hear from the inspector one more time about the communication.
He did clean up the backyard after the last hearing, but I was told to monitor the property to make sure that the boat repair business didn't start up again. So no affidavits of compliance were submitted. But then, now we're back to the same spot where boats are being repaired, there's parts,
So all three
just-
things exist still.
yeah.
You can set the fine. You don't have to set it for each one. That's $150. You can set it for
I
something.
think it was already preset from before, though.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to see this back here in 3
But I don't
months.
think that we make a motion just because we don't want to see it come back. I think he's been non-compliant for some time, and he's been aware, still repairing boats. We had a witness come and share.
My advice would be to make the lien a manageable figure that the seller would be willing, or that the buyer would
Well,
be
since
willing to
June.
pay.
7 weeks right now is manageable.
What's the recommendation on the affidavit that was prior? So what?
There's no no.
Yeah, because,
When it originally came,
yeah.
I was asking for a fine of $150 per day for 3 separate violations, of BTR, outdoor storage, and the vehicle repair.
And the BTR still doesn't exist.
We wouldn't issue a BTR
You wouldn't
because
get
you
one.
can't
It's a residential.
have vehicle repairs at,
Okay, so.
not at this nature, you can change your oil, but you can't have people bring their,
So many violations.
Well,
So for clarity, how many violations would be
Right.
in this? Would it be 3 violations going through this period?
yes.
3 violations through the period?
there's
Okay.
also the potential that he's not serious about selling and that he keeps the house.
Absolutely. How long has it been up or listed? Would you say, have you seen it?
You listed about a month, 60 days ago? You listed the house about 60 days ago?
Yeah, no, about a month ago, it's only ended.
About a month?
Okay.
I'm in favor of accepting, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel? You too?
Yeah.
I know how you feel.
I'll make a
Well,
motion.
if it's unrealistic, it's just gonna
I
go
move to
before the
accept
court.
the affidavit of noncompliance and issue an order to impose fines and states if fees and fines remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
I second.
Did anyone want to weigh in over here from council?
We might, can you reiterate what your motion is?
It's to accept the affidavit of noncompliance.
Okay, yeah.
Then that's fine.
Straightforward.
I thought you were talking about the fine amount.
No.
We'll go through, it'll move forward from the affidavit of
Yeah,
non-compliance.
I think we have a second.
I second. Yes. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for
Okay.
coming.
I'll get rid of those boats within a couple of weeks. But what's going on?
You should work closely with the inspector.
Excuse me?
You should work closely with the inspector.
Okay,
He'll be able to assist you.
okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Case 103-21, accept the affidavits of noncompliance for Respondent 15 Hollingsworth Street Realty Trust at 1831 North Highland Ave for signage without permits. Is there anyone here to speak to the affidavit of noncompliance for this? Hollingsworth Street. Going once. Okay.
How you doing?
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Your name and address?
My name is Mustafa Bakura.
I'm sorry, one more time?
I'm sorry, Mustafa Bakura.
MUS, TFA, ABO, KOURA.
Thank you. And you?
And Ahmed, AHMED, and Kasim is Takura, KARKOURA.
Got it. Thank you.
Do you want to tell us about this violation?
Yeah, we had applied for a permit. I'm sorry.
We're getting off script here. We're going to let the inspector speak first and then let you guys talk. Thank you.
Sorry, this is a very old case from when Daniel and I was here, so that's why I figured I should kind of go through it again. And there's multiple issues, so thank you for the deviation from script. So Rebecca Mulder, I'm the code manager for City of Clearwater. This is case 103-21. This was for one violation for signage without a permit. This was originally initiated by Danny Knight, our sign inspector. The original notice was from 11/4/2020, and then again on 2/3/21, with compliance dates of 12/7/2020 and 3/6/21. It did go before Code Board and was found in violation on 8/25/21. In the time frame of them, the properties trying to get their permits, Danny left the city, and this got jumped around between inspectors. There was applications that started, fell back, communications, so it delayed the filing of the affidavit one way or the other. Since then, I've gone through and I've seen that there's still no active permit to bring into compliance. There was several businesses in this complex suite, the Rent-A-Center. There is a nail salon and a specialty shop, a Chinese station, and a beauty supply shop, as well as a church. None of which got
this
permits.
is coming back.
None of which got permits for their signs. The gentlemen that are here in reference to the beauty supply business, and they said that they're working through the situation currently with the new notices for this hearing. As you can see, that there's no active permit for any signage, and so that's why I brought it back for the affidavit, because of the length of time that these property owners and tenants have been aware of the violation and no action has been taken, no attempt to comply with our city's not only codes for zoning, but also the building code requiring a permit for new signage.
Thank you, Ms. Mulder.
All right.
Any questions for Rebecca?
So it's just about they're the owners of that unit, or is it the whole building?
There's multiple suites in the building that are out of violation. They're specifically here to discuss their
Just theirs,
their
which is the
suite.
beauty store.
But the building in general is going to be getting a violation because it's against the owner, not against
I get it. Got it.
the tenants.
It's like a strip mall, who's responsible for applying for the permit for the sign? The unit owner?
So they
The
would
leasing?
apply, but we have to file our violations with the owners of the property. They're
Okay.
responsible for making sure their tenants comply with the city's
Oh, but the owner would
regulations.
tell the tenant that they have to apply individually
It
for
would
the
be
permit.
based on the tenant and owner contract, so the tenant and owner
Oh,
would
okay.
write their contracts to decide
I would be
who
interested to
handles
hear
the
their,
remodels and
yeah.
renovations and
So
those.
do the other tenants have permits yet? They don't.
So there'll be another case for that.
Is this the same that owns the Walmart supermarket? Is it all owned, but isn't that all in that same?
I don't know if they're owned by the same.
Oh, okay, this is just one portion
It's just that strip,
of that.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the 1831/1841. It's that whole.
Okay, because it is like a U-shaped
Mhm.
building, but this is just for the one side.
Correct.
Okay.
And this to book in the.
Or
case
L-shaped, I guess,
as a
yeah,
whole.
okay.
Makes sense.
Thank you.
No problem.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry, you are the tenants in
I'm
the
the tenant,
beauty
yeah.
supply
Yes.
Okay, and does your lease say that you are required to apply for the permit for your
To be
own
honest with
sign?
you, we didn't discuss that. You know, I'm new in Clearwater. Usually, I live in Tampa, so
Okay.
I moved the business here. My friend was owning the store, so, I
Okay.
took over from him.
Yeah, because that beauty supply store has been there for a very long time.
Well, yeah, it's been like 8 years.
Yeah.
But, of course, I took another store beside it, so I make it bigger.
Okay.
So it's 2 stores, like, together, like 400 square foot, 4,500 square foot. So the sign is compact, like, woods, of course, when we applied with Mr. Ahmed, we talked to Ms. Melissa in the city.
Mm-hmm.
We applied and we picked the draw with everything. And they, of course, we confused about the measurement, like 26 feet or 24 feet, because we put them together like that. Oh, sorry, 36.
Sorry. When we applied for the permit, Mr., I don't recall the inspector before that,
Mm-hmm.
he told me that you must email Ms. Melissa and tell her that you are requiring a special signage because you have a big store and you could exceed the 25 square feet limitation.
Okay.
And then we got, at the time it was COVID and it was hard to contact the city. And we got the email, then seeing the email was wrong. Then we tried to contact the city after they minimum different 5 times in 6-7 weeks, minimum. And we couldn't get to nobody. And then I saw that the email in process till we received the letter that we are not complying with affidavit. And we had contact, when we received the letter, we went to the city, we contacted Ms. Melissa directly. She gave us an application, we are working on it, and we'll present it within the next 2 weeks.
But the two of you are not part of this Hollingsworth Street Realty Trust, are you? You're not part of you're not part of the owners of
No.
this?
No.
Okay.
But we are clarifying the position of MTV Supply.
Okay.
So the fine would go to the owners, but I wonder if they would retro put it to them.
So did you make your own sign, or did you contract somebody to put it up?
We are contractor, we came to fix the afterward sign that's there.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Excuse me?
I don't have any questions. Does anyone have any questions for them?
No.
Okay. So we're going to vote on the affidavit of noncompliance, which applies to your landlord, to the
Yeah,
trust.
but we don't want nobody to get harmed because of us, and we had worked on the permit since last year.
Well, it's not just your business. There's several other ones in that mall that are out of compliance. All the signs.
How about that,
That's right, right?
No, for me as a tenant, I've just been there like 1 year and a half.
Well, I don't think he's going to terminate your lease over this action. I think he just needs to make sure that these signs are up to compliance, whether he does them or works with you guys to get them done. The fines don't fall to you, they fall to him. And you're not the only one. None of the shops are in compliance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what are you suggesting?
Excuse me?
Are you suggesting something different?
Yeah, my issue is that we had applied for the sign. And there was misunderstanding, maybe we didn't succeed to contact the city correctly, let's do it that way. It was our mistake not contacting correctly, maybe. But we had applied for the permit within the 30 days that was given to us from you.
Okay.
And the response was that we must apply to Ms. Melissa, and Ms. Melissa's email was wrong, and we didn't know anything about it till we received your letter that was 2 months ago or something like that.
So you sent it to the wrong email, didn't realize it, and then just received this
But
latest notice?
we called the city.
5 times, I think.
We keep calling, but nobody answered the phone.
Okay.
We can get it.
Well, I mean, you can only control your permit for your building. What about the nail bar, the church? There's other ones in the same block that are also not in
But the
compliance.
church, I think they left like 1 year ago.
But that's up to the building owner to remove the sign or whatever, so.
This violation is multiple properties. Even
Right.
if you omitted their property from this, there's still
Right.
violations that have existed and continue to exist. That's the problem before the board.
This will not change your, I mean, you can still keep following up to get your sign in compliance.
Of course, we do
This
that.
affidavit is going to affect whoever you lease from, this realty trust.
But I'm sorry to ask that, is it the affidavit dependent on each store or it's general affidavit? That's our concern. If our store is part of this problem, then we need the part of this problem to be away from the penalties because we didn't just came here and we didn't follow the instruction.
Well, I don't think you want to accept the affidavit for the whole building.
Huh?
It's one fine for all
Right.
violations, so even if you were in compliance, it doesn't change the fact that the owner is not in compliance for all the other buildings. It's not, I mean, that's how it was presented.
But I'm sure he appreciates your defense, and continue to try to work to get that sign into
We will
compliance.
be done within the next 30 to 40 days maximum.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Let him know you came today.
No, he's a good guy, he's a good friend, like, he helped me a lot, but I didn't know that's what's happening.
Yeah.
To be honest with Ms. Barbara, told me that outside, so, glad she told me, but I would of course tell him that.
Yeah.
Of course, I would tell him that, Mr. Josh, I'll tell him that.
I think he has been notified, though.
This is what's happening, and you have to fix that fast.
Okay, thank you.
I promise you, I'll tell him that now, since I.
We appreciate that, thank you.
No, because, I'm here, visiting, like, I like Clearwater, the first time in my life. I've been here like 15 years in Tampa, first time I come to the Clearwater, work.
Very good.
So it's a nice area,
We like it too.
nice, clean,
Yes.
I love it, to be honest with you.
It's great you guys are working on getting your sign in
Yes,
compliance.
of course, no,
You'll be fine.
we respect everything, like.
For sure, will be done within the next 30 days.
Very good.
Thank you. We
Thank
really
you for your time.
appreciate that, thank you.
Thank
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Yes.
I move to accept the affidavit of noncompliance and issue an order to impose the fines, and states if the fines and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's no other board, and the nuisance abatement lien filings.
We have case 4122.
Oh, I apologize, I didn't see. Case 41-42, accept affidavits of noncompliance for respondents WRI Countryside Center LLC, or Kimco Realty at 2561 Countryside Boulevard, number 4, for permits. Is there anyone here to speak of this affidavit of noncompliance? Hello. Thank you for sitting through our long meeting. And your name and address for the clerk?
I'm Smith Patel, 12515 Candleberry Circle, Tampa, Florida.
My name is Krunal Patel.
I'm sorry.
Krunal Patel, Krunal Patel, 1518 Highland Park Drive, Clearwater.
Is this your LLC?
It is not. So we are the tenants that currently occupy that Suite 4 in that particular plaza.
Okay.
So we actually started the business there in 2019. We hired Aiden Constructions to build out the burger place, and they provided us with the occupancy certificate saying from City of Clearwater that everything is in compliance. So we were not aware there were any violations on our building. We recently got a letter saying there was a hearing, and the new owner, so I'm assuming the letters that were sent were originally sent to the WR Countryside, and they sold the building to Kimco. So I'm assuming the letter to her is somewhere missing between the two companies. So we just got the new letter, and here we are trying to resolve how we can fix this issue.
The landlord sent the city's letter to you? Okay.
So we just got an email forwarded from the account rep saying, hey, there's a violation on your particular Suite 4. So here we go.
Okay. Is the inspector here to tell us about this violation?
No, Sam's not here. Good afternoon, Board. I'm Dana Root, Assistant Building Official. And let me see. Okay, this was a stop work order case. It was work without a permit. This is the sign that's on the tenant space, and they did apply for a permit but never picked it up.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
This is your business, Burger IM?
It is our business. So when we got the occupancy certificate from the city, we thought everything was in compliance, and now we're almost 3 years later, and we just got this notice. We're trying to reach out to the construction company, but none of the emails or none of the phone calls were answered back. So it's been 3 years, we can't get a hold of the contractor, but we want to resolve this issue, so we're here to figure out how we can, fix this.
What is the permit for?
I think it was for the sign. So we don't even know what the permit looks like. We were just told that the permit was pulled for your business, but they were never picked up. This is what we know.
And we can't just void the permit?
Yeah, the policy for the city of Clearwater is a separate permit would be issued for the sign only.
Okay.
And the permit was approved but never picked up.
Is there a way to reissue that permit, or?
Only to that contractor.
Can we void it and then the owner apply for the permit and pick it up? No?
The owner cannot apply for the permit. It needs to be a contractor. We could do a change of contractor, which means the original contractor would have to give up their permit to the new contractor. Or they could hire a new contractor to apply for a brand new permit.
Or what is the policy if this old contractor is just dissolved?
Then they need to apply for a new permit with a new contractor.
Okay. Gentlemen, were you aware that you need to apply for a new permit with a new contractor?
Like you said, we just got the letter. As far as we thought, we were 3 years into the business, and we thought everything was in compliance, because,
No, I understand.
Occupancy certificate, so the city of Clearwater, as far as we were concerned, they provided certificate to the contractor, and the contractor said, here, this is the final step, you're open for business. We weren't aware of any permits missing, picking up, anything. So this just recently came up, but, we want to fix this, so.
Okay.
And even like, I think a few months ago, I personally went to the city hall to pick up the permit, and they told
Doesn't
me
work that way.
you can't pick up the permit because it's too old, and contractor has to come over here to pick up, and we call him and he.
Okay, so he's gone, but it sounds like you need to find a new contractor to apply for the new permit to get the sign into compliance.
So question on that one, that's the like construction contractor or signage contractor?
Signage contractor.
Signage contractor.
Oh, let's not.
No, it can be a sign contractor, building contractor, or general contractor.
Okay. It can be a sign contractor, yeah, well, you heard it.
So we need to hire a new contractor, re-pull the permit, and then have a city officer come out and re-inspect the sign. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yes.
So here's what I want to know. Does this happen very often where we give a certificate of occupancy and yet the permits haven't been cleared?
Yes, we would issue a CO on a building that still has an active permit for a sign. There's no need to put a sign on the building. Some buildings don't have signs. We issue separate permits for pools, for fences. We will give a CO for a building with an active pool permit.
Okay,
So yes, it is common.
okay.
Okay, so I think we are going to move forward on this, gentlemen, and the affidavit is going to go to the owner of the building, and then, so I'm sure he would appreciate it if you guys would apply for the permit, find a new contractor. I know it's a hassle, but just get this done, because it sounds like the other contractor is maybe out of business, just gone.
So, can we get like at least 3 months to figure everything out? We just want to get that extension out for 3 months to resolve this.
No, I don't think, that's not what this is going to say to them. This is going to say that the fines are going to go into effect and they need to start paying them until, maybe the building owner can find a contractor for you. Something is going to expedite this so that it becomes someone's priority, because it hasn't been someone's priority for a very long time.
So, like, fine, when the fine gonna start?
Well, the fine won't be to you. It
Yeah,
will
but I
be to
think,
your landlord.
indirectly, they're gonna forward that amount to us. So, if we can give us some time to resolve this issue before the fines start, maybe a month or so. I don't know how long does it take the permitting process goes through, but if you can give us some time, because I know the landlords, the big lawyers have somewhere written in some blue line somewhere on the lease saying, hey, all this fines should go to you. So, we just want a little time, just give us an opportunity to fix this.
He's saying the landlord's going to have retribution, financial retribution on him if he doesn't.
The decision's up to the board. If you want to extend the time period, we would just, for example, just put it on for next month for you to make a determination on acceptance. If you wanted to accept it today, then the fine would start from June 29th, June 28th.
Of this year or last year?
Yes.
And it would still start from June 28th, even if we do it a month from now.
Correct,
So
unless
it'd be
unless they were
fixed.
suddenly in compliance and you decided to deal with that.
Right. If it's done, then it goes away.
So we can request, because I don't know how long the permitting process is, but we'll find the contractor right away and try to go through the process and pull the permits as soon as possible, because, it looks like the landlords, they have big lawyers and they can obviously say, here, you guys owe us $20,000 and we are, we can't get a hold of contractor. We thought we were, in legal because we got the occupancy certificate.
It looks like it shouldn't be too difficult if they were issued it before, and presuming the sign is in compliance. It doesn't, but I'm not the expert on that, so.
We just continue?
We can continue it.
I'll make a motion that we continue this case 5.5.
4122, yeah.
Yeah, case 4122 till next month.
Is that a motion?
I second.
That's the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, gentlemen, there's your 30 days, so.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you, we appreciate
thank
it.
you. Okay, there's no other board action items. Nuisance abatement lien filings. The first two are withdrawn. Case 71-22, accept the nuisance abatement lien for respondents Pamela Murphy at 1450 Rogers Street for lot clearing. I don't know where we are. Is the property owner present? No, okay. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Inspector Schaaf.
Schaaf.
And I apologize, this is my very first
Welcome.
board meeting here, and my instructor back there told me to make sure I do things in the
You're in good hands.
Just go to slideshow. Current slide. Yeah. Thank you for your patience. Good afternoon, Board. Inspector Gary Schaaf. I'm here on case number 7122 for 1450 Rogers Street. just asking for one violation of Code Section 3-1503.B.7 for excessive growth and accumulation. Initially, I went out to this property and posted it on July 21st of 2022. I also mailed a clearing notice of violation to the property owner on that day. We set the compliance date. I was still in training at that time, so after conferring with my trainer, we set the compliance date for August 1st. And I received the certified mail back on August 2nd, returned to sender, able to get in touch with the property owner.
Okay.
Absolutely. Can you hear me now?
It's better. Yes. Thank you.
So 7/21/22 is when I initially posted the property and mailed out the notice of lot clearing violation to the property owner. The compliance date was set for August 1st. I received the certified letter back on August 2nd. This is the property the day of posting. I went back out, so, I'm sorry, this was the day of compliance, so they had not met compliance by the compliance date. I did go back out on the 15th. I don't know who did this, but somebody cut the grass in the front yard between the 1st and the 15th. So we're requesting that the board find in violation, one violation of lot clearing. We're requesting compliance 5 days after the board renders its order. If compliance is not met, requesting an order to be issued, allowing the city to enter the property and abate the nuisance. After 3 months from the recordation date of such lien, if the fines and fees remain unpaid, the city's attorney's office is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such liens using any legal or equitable remedies available under the law.
I'm a little confused. Was it cleared on the 15th?
The front yard was cut, but the backyard, I have another picture just from today that I'd like to show the board. So this is what it looked like this morning when I went out. The yard is starting to grow back up in the front, but the backyard, you can't even get through the side into the backyard because the backyard in the side, that's about up to my waist.
Okay,
So,
but this isn't a repeat violation, this is
no, not that I was able to find in our database when I opened this case.
So the grass in the backyard is really tall.
Yeah, and the side is overgrown as well.
Are we moving it to a lien because the homeowner didn't respond?
But what we would go in, so on a nuisance abatement, right, the city comes in and clears it off.
Right.
There's an open fine that is out there, the city could then come back in and do it again.
Right.
Continually, and then we lien the property.
But
But not until we have the cost for doing the act.
okay, but it doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like she's really had ample warning. She didn't even reply to the letter, and why couldn't it just come as a
Well, what happens
as a
in these
case?
kind of cases is when there's an evident nuisance like this, after a period of time, even if there's no response, it allows the city to come in and abate that nuisance. So they can do that in many different ways. They just usually don't choose to do that. They take them through the other code enforcement.
Right.
Except on lot clearing with grass, that's something that's usually handled this way.
I guess what's throwing me for the loop is that she did have the front done, so it's possible she could have had the back done.
This is on me. I didn't probably do as good of an explanation to the board as I should have about not contacting her. She is not in the residence as far as I can tell. I spoke to a neighbor that lives directly next door to her. And from what that neighbor says, she's in some sort of facility, aftercare facility, or she had some sort of injury or illness where she's in a long-term care facility, but nobody knows what facility that is.
And so the process that allows us to go forward with requesting this lien, even though the letter was returned not received, is because the property was posted. It was also posted to City Hall. And so the fact that she cleared, or whoever may have cleared, it may have been a neighbor, we don't know, came by and cleared just the front yard, just maybe for whatever potential purpose, but this order allows the city to repeatedly after this, we expect this is going to continue to be an issue, as well as the side and backyard are still an issue. So this order allows the city to repeatedly go onto the property for the period of time that the order allows. So it's not necessarily even just about the front yard this particular time, it's that we believe that it's going to be an ongoing process. So the lot clearing, instead of...
Unfortunately, the city becomes people's lawn service, but they're able to lien the property so they get the money back.
After the city hires a contractor and pays them.
Okay.
What motion do we need?
The nuisance abatement.
That they did not come into compliance.
Yeah, no, it's,
You can just,
Nuisance abatement.
yeah. I move to enter an order finding the respondent in violation of code and requiring the respondent to correct the violations within 5 days of the board's written order. If the respondent does not comply within this time specified, the city may take all reasonable actions, including entry onto the property to abate and maintain the nuisance, and charge the respondent with a reasonable cost which will become a lien on the property. If costs, fines, and fees remain unpaid 3 months after such lien is filed, the city is authorized to foreclose, collect, or settle such lien.
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
We'll be seeing you.
The thing, we've been alerted that when you did the minutes, and we never took the vote. Make a motion and second to accept the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes from last month's meeting.
We just need to take a vote. We already have it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Are there any other, is there anything else?
I'll make a motion that we
At
adjourn.
the next council meeting, they will be picking, or there's applications on the agenda for a new board member.
Oh, for this group, okay.
Soon.
2 seats or one?
One.
One.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
I now close this portion of the public meeting.
Thank you. See you next month.
Who's leaving?